As I just reported the nightly news tonight, we have 800 cancer patients in the process of filing Monsanto. That may expand. They expect it to thousands of people based on studies that have been going back and forth on the long-term health effects of glyphosate. Now, we have on the line right now CEO David Stelzer, CEO of Azure Farms in Oregon. They are an organic farm, and they are being threatened by the county, saying that they're going to come in and do weed control. They're giving them some options. And of course, glyphosate is one of the options here. So we want to talk to him about his organic farm, why people want to farm organically, why you as a consumer would want to have food that doesn't have glyphosate on it. Because the people that we're seeing, interestingly enough, at this point, the people who are involved in this lawsuit with Monsanto, of course, are agricultural workers. But there are people who are concerned about the health effects of the food that they eat, any residuals that may be on it. So joining us now is David Stelzer of Azure Farm. Welcome, Mr. Stelzer.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about your farm, your operation there that you have in Oregon.
Well, we're one of the oldest organic farms in Oregon. My father actually started farming organically in 1973, so way before it was popular. The particular farm where the issue is in Sherman County is about 2,000 acres. We grow mostly grain, peas, and cattle there of various sorts. Mm-hmm. Our total farming operation is that's roughly half of our operation as far as size goes. That's in that county.
And so, why do you farm organically? Because if people use the chemicals, everything looks so nice and neat and tidy. We see this happening in the neighborhoods. And I recounted it earlier that we had the same situation in the neighborhood where we lived. We had neighbors who would spray their lawns with chemicals. And we had a dog who died of the same kind of cancer that agricultural workers were getting when they were using weed control. So it's kind of a canary in a coal mine for my family to see our dog die from that, because animals, it takes that effect on them much quicker than it does on humans, who might do it for a couple of decades before they notice any health effects.
Yeah, that's right. So it is a conscious decision. There's two reasons. One, and the primary reason, and why we did it back in the 70s and have stuck with that principle ever since, is because it's the right thing to do. We were seeing the effects of toxic chemicals, and even more than toxic chemicals, the out of balance fertilization that was happening in the soil, creating subpar food. That's why we get all these autoimmune diseases that, like celiac disease, where tons of people are getting serious allergy to wheat. And it's not because of wheat or the gluten. We've been eating wheat for thousands of years. Mm-hmm. It's the way that it's raised and why the protein content is out of balance. The amino acids don't. The gluten is the very first thing that forms. It's the first amino acid. The rest of it's not there. So the body, in order to balance, is trying to pull up these other amino acids, and there's just not enough there. It can't do it in the long term, and we get an autoimmune disease like celiac disease. So, and then the second reason is because, and this one I think should resonate with all farmers, is that is what the market is demanding now. Right now, when I first started farming organically, the premium on organic wheat was maybe 25 to 30% if you were doing really good. You could get that much more. Today, because of the consumer demand, because of people that realize glyphosate and these other toxic chemicals are harming their health and harming our planet, the differential now is 3 times. So we can get 3 times as much for organic wheat as conventional wheat is worth today. So that really should make any farmer take notice. Hey, why grow something that nobody wants? Let's grow the products that people want.
Exactly. So you realized this 40 some odd years ago, and now you're seeing a huge differential because you're answering a market need. And yet there are people in your neighborhood who, I guess, filed a complaint with the county that they don't like your farm for some reason or the other. Tell us, what is being threatened by the county against your farm?
Well, the complaint is that weed seeds from our farm are getting onto neighboring farms. So we need to control our weeds, and they have a noxious weed ordinance in the county that says if you refuse to control your noxious weeds, that they will do it for you and bill you for it. So because and it says in the ordinance that you must do the best known methods. Um, so they're redefining the best known methods to only include herbicides.
Wow.
So there are other methods. There's biocontrols and other things that we've been using and trying to use, cultivation and so on. But the definition is beginning to change because of these. So that's the issue. Is now only herbicides are qualifying as a good method.
Very interesting, because you've been doing this for over 40 years, and now they're changing the definition of weed control. So to require you to use chemical herbicides rather than other types of weed control. And I think it's kind of interesting because we've seen in the past that Monsanto, of course, sells and creates its own seeds that do not reproduce. They are glyphosate friendly, and they want people to use those seeds. However, sometimes those seeds have, just like you're talking about weed control, they have gone over onto adjacent property. And once Monsanto finds that, they will sue the people on whom these seeds have propagated over. They find the DNA over there on the adjacent field, and they sue these people for having their seeds illegally. So we see them working both sides of this issue to the disadvantage of people who do not want to buy into their corporate model, who want to grow organic food, don't we?
That's kind of what it looks like. Using the same standards, we should be charging those neighbors for the weed seeds, that those weeds will actually make their land a little healthier because it brings up calcium and nutrients from deep in the soil.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's a different thought process. So as an organic farmer, that's the way I think, that some of these weeds, and not that I'm trying to grow weeds, we're not, I want to control those weeds as much as possible as well. But really, that's what it's a sign of. It's a sign that the soil needs specific help. Biodiversity is what nature does. Biodiversity is in all of nature. Anywhere in the forest or the prairie or everywhere, there's a huge array of plants that grow. In monoculture that we do in modern agriculture, it's against nature. So nature automatically tries to create biodiversity, and that's why we have noxious weeds. And as a farmer, if we can do a good job at companion planting and crop rotation and so on, then those weed problems will go away. And so, yeah, we definitely have room to improve, even though we've been doing it for 40 years.
Well, it sounds like you know exactly what you're doing in terms of your farm or your organic farm. You thought this through. You've had 40 plus years experience in this. But what are you going to do about this legal issue that is in front of you? Tell us what the situation is with that, and what we've got about just under 2 minutes left in the interview.
Well, so what I did and why I'm talking to you and several others is that I went ahead and put it out on social media, and it went crazy. I never expected anything like it. It went viral on social media, this problem that we're facing. So now that thousands of letters have come into the county, they're already softening their tone a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think that this will take care of it. I don't know that for a fact. We have a hearing tomorrow night at 4:00 that
well, tell people where they can find. Tell people where they can find your information so that they can send letters to the county, because as you're pointing out, there's a demand for this. The consumers want this. That's why it is selling at such a high multiple to other types of food. People want organic food. If they want organic food, they're going to have to stand by the organic food producers who are being challenged by the pharmaceutical industry, by Monsanto and others who want to sell these pesticides. So tell people how they can get in touch and get involved here.
Oh, you bet. We've got a video right on the very front page of our website, www.azurestandard. That's AZURESTANDARD.com. So just go to azurestandard.com. There's a video about the issue right on the landing page.
Great. That's great. So go there. If you want clean, organic food, you have to speak up for it. And, of course, stand by the farmers as they are picked out one by one. Again, go to azurestandard.com. You can get the information there. Stand with the people who are growing your clean food. Thank you so much, David Stelzer, CEO of Azure Farms. Good luck with that fight.
The reason InfoWars Life has 5-star ratings on major third-party sites is because I want products I'm going to use for my family. I take this, my family takes this, and then it funds the operation with the most hardcore, truthful information you're going to find anywhere. So what you find in our news is the same thing you find in our products at InfoWarsLife.com.
If I ever forget to take them, I have a noticeable difference. I don't feel good. The nascent iodine is one of the ones that was life-changing for me.
Yeah, I actually have just run out of my super female. I had a few bottles at my house, and I've been taking it again, hitting the gym once again. Very exciting, feeling great, looking good. So, and I know my hair is luxurious once again. So obviously the super female is amazing. I love it.
Nascent iodine is essential. Survival Shield X2. If there's one product that I would say is life-changing that I would suggest, it's Nascent iodine Survival Shield X2. It's got a 5-star rating.
It's a win-win. InfoWarsLife.com.